Hello and welcome to Michael's Minty Music for today. A day late, unfortunately, but I was busy. Today we review Pink's 2017 album, Beautiful Trauma. It is alright, not too bad. This is the track listing, and these are the tracks I added to my playlist, 7 out of 13, so just one over half. This album is alright, still pretty good, but it is kind of a little bit boring. All the tracks are standard pop songs which sound like less interesting versions of songs off her previous albums. The opening couple of tracks are pretty good, but they aren't incredible, and they got a bit overplayed on the radio. A bit of a flow manages to get built up around the halfway point, but it can't really make it to the end, and there's no real... there's too many not interesting tracks in the first half to really get anything going. There are too many pop ballads here, and they just aren't super interesting. The most interesting tracks here are the ones that pull from other genres, but they're few and far between, unfortunately. The result of this is that the album doesn't really come together. It just kind of sounds boring, especially as a whole album. Some of the individual tracks are pretty good, actually, but altogether, most of the songs here are just too similar and boring. There was only one single released before the album, What About Us, which was on the radio along with the opening title track, Beautiful Trauma, and Whatever You Want. Those three are definitely good, but they got pretty overplayed, and they're not incredible. They didn't really deserve to get all of the radio play they did, in my opinion. My favorite track here is definitely Secrets. It's got some techno and rock influence that isn't really present anywhere else on the album, so I really like it for that reason. It sounds more similar to some of the stuff off of her sort of 2000s work instead of her 2010s work. I ranked this album 7th out of 9, so only above two other albums by Pink. It's definitely better than her debut, Can't Take Me Home, but it's only a bit better than Hurts to Be Human, the follow-up, because that one is basically the same sound but with less energy and more slow songs, so it's definitely more boring and not quite as interesting. In a similar fashion, The Truth About Love is kind of like if Beautiful Trauma was a little bit more upbeat and had a little bit more variety. Even though these styles and overall sounds are pretty similar, The Truth About Love has a clear quality advantage and comes together a lot better overall. Although the two are definitely sort of in the range of mostly just pop songs, not a ton of variety. Nothing like most of the top half of her rankings here, which are all a lot more interesting. Additionally, this album does not take my top spot from 2017. That goes to Imagine Dragons' Evolve, which is one of my favorite albums of all time, and significantly better than Beautiful Trauma, for sure. So, yeah, that takes it. Thank you for watching. Next up is Fall Out Boy's 2008 album, Folie, Deux. It was released only a year after their previous album in 2007, so it was a pretty quick turnaround, and I'm interested to see how that affects it. So, stay tuned for that, and as always, stay minty.